Boas-vindas ao 11º episódio do Yoga para Você podcast. Meu nome é Ricardo Mitre e hoje apresento para vocês uma das nossas principais professoras de meditação, a Swami Divyananda. Swami Divyananda é uma monja há mais de 30 anos. Ela dedica sua vida a vivenciar e ensinar a profundidade do yoga. Nessa nossa conversa, ela vai nos falar sobre o tempo que ela viveu na Índia. Foram muitos anos vivenciando o yoga, ensinando yoga e vendo o yoga ser manifestado de diferentes formas no país raiz de toda essa nossa tradição. Ela também nos dá dicas valiosas sobre meditação, tanto para quem está começando quanto para quem quer aprofundar esse caminho. Então, recebam de coração aberto a nossa querida professora Swami Divyananda.
Thank you very much, Swamiji.
So happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, my first question. Yoga has obviously had a huge impact in your life. You became a monk at the age of 29 and you're still serving the yoga community up until today. So I would like you to talk a little bit about how was that impact? How did yoga got into your life and what happened with it?
And what is still happening with it?
Yes.
Thank you. That's a wonderful question. I actually started at about 25 years old. And I'm 71, so that was a long time ago. And I was a child in an adult body, but still a child, and searching quite desperately. I'm of the generation of hippies, and we were all searching. And yoga was what captured me. It was, from my first class, like a light turned on in a room that had been dark. And I never turned back after that. It's so wholesome. The principles are very simple. And it was a homecoming for me. Somehow I think my soul had longed for this path. Meeting the guru was a surprise. I had no interest in ever having a guru. And when my friend said, please come meet our guru, I said, no, I'm busy. And that was very transformative. He was sort of the living proof that yoga takes a person to a place far beyond our normal consciousness. And I'm still marveling. Still very much a normal consciousness, but marveling and absolutely thrilled to be on this path.
Beautiful. Since you chose the path of yoga, you had the chance of working in different settings, in different cities in the U.S. and some outside, right? Mm-hmm. But you also had the amazing chance of working and spending 11 years in India, right? Yes. At the Integral Yoga Institute in Coimbatore. Mm-hmm. How would you say that this experience of living in India changed your relationship with yoga?
It deepened it, but it's very hard to explain. I can say it this way. The culture is so vastly different from ours, that I think we unconsciously create parameters for ourselves based on our cultural understandings. Mm-hmm. And in India, the parameters are very, very different. I like to put it this way. This is the best and the worst of America. But we've got the best and the worst of India. It's a much, much wider parameter. Mm-hmm. And so the expressions of yoga were really very different. And I saw behaviors I'd never seen in America. Mm-hmm. I could think of a couple examples. There were kirtans that were going for 48 hours.
Wow.
I know. It's astonishing. But there would be a group that would gather and they would take turns. But they would stay in that energy 48 hours, maybe longer. There was a home of one of my friends. They had done a daily puja for 70 years. I think they had a hired priest who came, and probably his grandson did the same service. Mm-hmm. But the role of the Lord and the divine in the life of an average Indian is very, very central. Very central. And also the expressions just in relationship, in service, in work, in schooling. There's a thousand differences, but they're a little hard to explain. And I'm always leery of making generalizations because I think cultures are much too complex to submit to any general principles. But I saw the Indian capacity for sharing, for intimacy, which was often astonishing. And even among the very poor, the delight in giving. I came to feel like every human wants delight in life. And the very poor do not have access to the movie theaters and the beautiful parks and the things that we enjoy so much. But they have friendship. And they know the delight of serving each other. And they can live happily even within poverty, as long as their very basic needs are covered. It was amazing to witness that.
Nice, beautiful. So you have just finished a 12-day meditation teacher training here at Ayurveda. And I can say from my own experience, because I took the course with you, that it was life-changing.
Oh,
thank you. Yeah, but I do see that there is still a lot of resistance and misunderstanding about meditation. People still resist, and still they're not really sure if it works or not, or they don't know how to deepen it and how to keep up with the practice. What advice could you give to those?
First, I'm so sorry. It was life-changing.
In a good way.
Life is so beautiful. I don't want it to change it anyway.
It will be even better.
It is I think it does frighten people. The whole science of going into the mind and starting to manage the mind, it's hard. It's very hard. We kept using an analogy. And this analogy I had never heard until this course started, but it was of a puppy, a beautiful, happy puppy, beloved by its owners, has the run of the house, and is very, very naughty. So if you put that puppy on a leash to go for a walk, he's going to howl, and he'll be outraged. And that's how the mind is. And it's first attempts at meditation, it will rebel like anything. And even as we continue, you take that puppy for a walk, it pulls, and you're always just saying, come on back, come on back, come on back, come on back. That's the mind, because it wants to run, and it's fascinated in everything, and it has immense capacity. So we have to continually say, come on back, Om Shanti. And then finally, the puppy willingly trots behind us. And that's really when meditation begins. But it frightens people during that long period when they're constantly having to pull on the leash, and the mind seems completely unmanageable. But on the other side of it, I think meditation answers a call that's in every soul's heart. Because we long to understand what is the truth of this world, and how can we live in contact with a happiness that doesn't betray us. There's so many joys that we seek, and then we have a hangover afterwards. So it's a trial and error universe, it seems to be. But once we are on the path of meditation, things are transformed for us. The mind becomes calmer, the heart becomes calmer, life opens up. It's like a blossom coming into full bloom. Misunderstandings, I think the misunderstandings arise from the difficulty that's presented to the new student. Also, I think the most common error is the student is keen to learn to meditate well and bites off more than they can chew, to use that American phrase. So you mustn't reach for the stars, not right away. Just do a little and learn how to manage the mind in small tasks, small meditative tasks, and then build it up from there. I'm thrilled that you liked the course.
I did. I loved it. And I love this analogy. I think I can hear it a million times and it will still make so much sense. Yeah. It's easy to picture how the mind does that, just as a puppy.
Yeah, it's so rebellious at first. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Swamiji, for
what a happy day it is for me.
Sharing it with us. Thank you. Om Shanti. Então é isso, pessoal. Espero que vocês tenham gostado dessa entrevista. Eu quero aproveitar também para agradecer ao Jai Vida por ter cedido o espaço e esse tempo com a Swami. Swamiji, thank you once again.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
É sempre muito rico ver a Swami Divyananda falando sobre yoga, falando sobre a Índia. Pouco tempo depois que a gente teve essa entrevista com ela, eu e a Lu, e na época a Sofia bem pequenininha, fomos para a Índia, passamos aproximadamente um mês com a Swami Divyananda, fizemos uma viagem muito bonita. Fica para um outro podcast, eu e a Lu conversarmos sobre essa viagem, sobre tudo que ela proporcionou para o nosso entendimento da prática do yoga e para o nosso entendimento das raízes dessa cultura, dessa tradição tão bonita. Se você gostou dessa entrevista, se você gostou da Swami Divyananda e está assistindo esse vídeo do YouTube, não deixe de curtir e escrever aqui nos comentários qual trecho você mais gostou, qual ensinamento fez mais sentido para você. Se você está me escutando no Deezer ou no Spotify, Apple Podcast ou em outra plataforma, deixe o seu review, deixe a sua avaliação, para a gente isso é muito importante. Espero te ver no próximo episódio. Um forte abraço.